What is up everyone? This is Jay from Dreamers YGO, and today I bring you all a brand new video with my thoughts of what I believe the top 5 decks will be after Extreme Force. In case you didn't hear about it, this upcoming weekend we have sneak peeks happening as we get ready to release the set, so be sure to drop by your local card shop. The set has some very impactful cards and new archetypes that I believe shake up the presently played decks, so I wanted to give my thoughts on this. This is entirely an opinion video, so if you believe otherwise, it's totally cool. Just leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, I believe these will be the top 5 decks of the format assuming no ban list. Pendulum Magicians get a huge boost with Electromite, and I believe they will reclaim their number 1 spot, displacing Spirals and Trickstars down to 2 and 3. I believe Lightsworns, specifically the zombie variant, will see a greater resurgence in play with the introduction of Curious, which will boost its stats to be ABC for the number 4 spot. So based on that, let's move on to the rogue decks now. When coming up with this list, here are some of the decks I consider. Before we get into it, I just want to clarify that rogue decks does not mean cheap, although there are a few at a very low cost. These, however, are decks that people are not going to play as extensively, but I believe still have a great shot of beating the tier 1 decks I mentioned. So here they are. At number 5, I have True King Dinosaur. I believe dinosaurs are still very good, being able to make huge plays using Diagram, and the True Kings put extremely powerful cards on board, such as Calamities. Additionally, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is still a powerhouse of a card, able to clear your opponent's boards if they do not have the out to it, and the deck's aggressiveness can put significant damage quickly. In the new set, dinosaurs additionally get Overtext Quackless. Overtext allows you to negate a spell or trap card by destroying a dinosaur monster, and furthermore, when it is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can search an evolution card. With powerful cards such as Double Evolution Pill, I believe this deck has a ton of potential and a great shot at being competitive in the meta. This is a build I have been working on if you all are interested in some ideas. Of course, the deck is not perfect. I would say its main issues lie in not being as consistent with their hands as other top decks, sometimes drawing too much of a single engine, forcing you to do awkward plays that net you minimal advantage. Moving on to number 4, I have Burning Abyss. Burning Abyss is able to take a multitude of forms, and the main reason to expect success from it is their ability to play floodgates and hand traps to severely limit the plays your opponent can do. The deck also does not care for hand trap disruption against it, making many decks maining those cards worthless. Cards such as Droll and Ghost Ogre do absolutely nothing, and Ash Blossom typically stops their Scarm Search, which is not great either, considering they were still able to play and leave monsters on board. Their ability to float allows you to have enough time to find your specific cards to clear your opponent's threats. Lastly, the deck can play Vanity's Fiend, heating almost all meta decks, which can lead to a quick game if your opponent isn't able to out it. Here's a hand trap and floodgate oriented version for you all to get started. The main issues with the deck is that depending on the variant, they rely on going first to set up their floodgates and can sometimes have a difficult time playing second. Additionally, they are quite limited by the link mechanic and often rely on Beatrice to push their plays and damage, which can be rather weak versus many of the meta's strongest monsters. Moving to number 3, I have Mekk-Knights. Mekk-Knights is a new archetype implementing the usage of column mechanics. The deck's general strategy is to flood the field and go for one-turn kill plays. With the deck engine being rather small and wanting to always go second, the deck plays many hand traps and mains powerful cards such as Evenly Matched, Board Wipes, and Kaijus to rid your opponents of their boss monsters and field. Additionally, it can use other impactful cards such as Grinder Golem, allowing you to play powerful Link 4 monsters such as the new Saruya Skulldread and Borolo Dragon. Here's a build to get you all started. The main issues with the deck are their inability to put disruption during your opponent's turn and having to rely on your opponent's field to play some of your cards due to Mekk-Knight's summoning condition. Additionally, forcing the deck to go first often leads to just passing turn, since you have minimal cards that allow you to play without your opponent having cards on their board. At number 2, I now have Sephira. Sephira is a great deck that has seen some tier 2 tournament level success, and with the introduction of Electromite, they become more consistent at pushing their powerful disruption plays. The Sephira deck is able to typically generate 2 disruptions with their hand, and sometimes more, adding cards such as 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing or Sephira Divine Strike. Additionally, the deck is very consistent due to having powerful searching cards such as Oracle of Sephira and Sephira Providence to search out your combo cards, granting it a ton of potential. The deck can also generate a variety of plays, allowing you to have the tools to counter whatever strategy your opponent might be pursuing. Here's a build I have been testing. The main issues the deck faces is it can run out of resources quickly if your opponent is able to play through your disruptions and has some difficulty playing second. Additionally, of the pendulum decks, it has the most difficulty dealing with evenly matched since the deck does not really add more resources to hand with their plays. Cards such as Cosmic Cyclone, a ubiquitous sidecard in many decks, is also quite problematic, and Sephira Providence is useless against it. Some of my honorable mentions before we move on to number 1 include World Chalice, Infernoid, and Invoked variants. I feel these decks could see play and be very successful, but did not think they were strong enough to make the top 5. Finally, jumping to number 1, we have Demise True Draco. So, the Demise True Draco used to be a very strong meta contender, but it has fallen out of favor. Nonetheless, True Draco is a very consistent deck, and their success is based on something similar to Burning Abyss. The deck is able to main extremely powerful floodgates such as Anti-Spell Fragrance, Skill Drain, Imperial Order, and Monarch's Erupt. Not only having difficult floodgates to play around with, Masterpiece is still a ridiculous card which many decks have a ton of problems getting rid of. It plays fairly well going first and second since it can either set up floodgates or use the themed spell and trap cards to clear your opponent's board. It has a ton of draw power and huge consistency, allowing you to often find the resources you need. This is a standard build for all of you to test out. The main issues the deck faces is that Ash Blossom and Draw Unlock are very effective cards against it, and some of the most common hand traps. A well played Ash, or just dropping a Droll, can lead to the opponent ending their turn having none of their floodgates left on board. Additionally, the deck can outright lose versus evenly match if you set everything with Card of Demise, but many variants have started using Mind Crush to dodge evenly and further disrupt your opponent due to how powerful Mind Crush is against many decks this format. Well, with that, these are what I believe will be the top 5 rogue decks after the new set releases. But don't just take my word for it. I encourage you all to test some of them out and comment below if you find something awesome. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Additionally, comment any ideas of what you think are the top rogue contenders, or if you believe the top 5 decks that I mentioned will be different. Once again with that though, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.